We begin with breaking news. In the last 60 seconds or so, the southbound lanes reopened on I-75 in Cobb County after hours of a complete closure because of a call about a suspicious package. We watched a bomb squad robot remove that package real time here on 11 Alive News. As we speak, it is in the back of that truck in a vault, safely away from I-75, which is why just moments ago the highway finally reopened after being closed since 4:15 on a busy Friday afternoon commute. This all happening on I-75 between Delk Road and Windy Hill Road in Smyrna. Cobb County Police have been coordinating all that's happened in the hours since. We want to get to 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn with what we've seen so far. Unprecedented. None of us here in the newsroom can ever remember seeing something like this unfold here on live TV.
Not at all, and it has to be something major to close an entire interstate, north and southbound, especially I-75. DOT issuing an emergency alert about it. But the best news of the afternoon, the interstate on both sides starting to move again. Southbound still sparse, but northbound is moving. I can tell you, southbound at one point over 15 miles of a backup. But right now, let's go back to Chopper if we can for just a moment. I want to walk people through what we have been seeing. If we have it, if not, we can go to the robot loading that device as well. But I can tell you, this is the live look. So that device is in the vault of this truck. You can see the bomb squad folks out there. They're discussing what they have. They moved this scene off the interstate to open those lanes back open. And what they will do now is try to figure out what that device was. And what we're going to do is show you some video from a little earlier from SkyTracker as this device was being picked up. That is what they were talking about. That is the cylinder right there. At first glance, it does look like a pipe bomb. Has a lot of similarities, but again, we can't confirm that at this point. You can see this is just unreal to watch. The robot's arm reached out, clamped that device, took it back to the truck. You can see it actually dropping it into the vault right there. This vault allows them to conceal this device. If it is live, if it is actually a threat, if it blows up, it can be contained inside that vault, which protects everyone. You saw the robot come back down. This was around 5:45, 5:30. And then once that happened, that's when things started to wrap up. But that's the truck we saw in the parking lot moments ago. This is why these departments have resources like this. This protected those first responders. But again, the question is, what is in the back of this truck? That's the moment it left the interstate just before 6 o'clock and headed to that parking lot. It actually got an escort from Cobb County Police along with the bomb truck. So again, a lot of questions still need to be answered. We do not know what that device is. Cobb County Police telling us they will be updating us soon. But that's the question. What was it and how was it found? Did a motorist see this, call it in? That's the question, where this thing came from. And of course, the biggest question, what is it? And is it actually a threat to anyone? But I'll tell you, for them to shut the interstate down like this for this amount of time, they obviously had some suspicion that this thing was an obvious threat to the public. That's the biggest thing we're trying to figure out right now.
Cody, thank you. And as we watched it play out moment by moment as they gathered more information, it seemed that they proceeded as if it could be a threat, and they were definitely thinking through kind of worst case scenario. What they wanted to do was get it off the highway. What you're seeing on the right side of your screen is this perspective of the parking lot they moved that vault to with the suspicious item in the back of the truck. And on the left is the first signs of traffic moving we had seen since 4 o'clock this afternoon. To give you some context of how quickly the backups got intense, this all started about 4 o'clock this afternoon. By 4:40, the backups were already 11 miles long, and they built over the time of rush hour. And then we saw that happening on the side streets and those and 285 as well. So the movement in the last 3 or 4 minutes to reopen all those lanes on 75 is tremendous progress, but this will take quite some time before the traffic situation is fully taken care of. And as Cody mentioned, so many questions on the investigative side about what it is, what the threat may have been. But as we've talked about here, as we've been with you wall to wall through this, whatever the outcome of the story is, this will be a day everyone remembers that I-75 shut down for 4 hours and there was not a car on the road for whatever we find out to be the end of this story. Chris, you've been working through all kinds of alternates for us. There aren't a lot of options when we're talking about the kind of backups that we've been seeing.
And that's the problem, because this major interstate was shut down for about 2 hours and everybody was trying to find alternate routes, and then all of those got packed as well. And so what you're seeing now, even though we're celebrating the reopening of 75, we still have a lot of red and orange here showing up on the maps, not only on 75, but it's also impacting the inner loop of 285 right here as it comes from the Riverside Drive area up toward 285, and then also the northern part of 285 there, the outer loop coming from 400 to 75, that has also been backed up. And so now that those lanes are opening, it's going to be a delayed response for the folks back behind this to still get moving. It's almost like an accordion effect, where even though the road is open, the folks in the back are still going to have to wait a while before that is actually going to be able to start moving. You do see the orange color right here on the southbound side, and that kind of goes with the video that we were showing you. That traffic now, as it's the beginning of opening up there, is beginning to move a little bit. On the northbound side, we're beginning to see things move a little bit more here as well. And again, all those other side roads here from Powers Ferry, Windy Ridge, a lot of these people on 285 were trying to use those side streets to get around this. So a lot of those are backed up too. And then we'll take you out further. Look at the red. Earlier, this was going all the way up to 575. Now that is starting to shrink up a little bit. So we're seeing some improvement. But just because the road opened doesn't mean that the traffic is going to start moving immediately. It's still going to take a while for these cars to keep moving, or to get moving, and then to make that flow happen a little bit more quickly.
Chris, thanks a lot. We will continue, of course, to follow all the traffic impacts from this here on 11 Live and streaming on 11 Live Plus.